Hyperbaric therapy integrates really well with red light therapy, but there are many questions how you actually combine them together, which therapy you should do first, and when. Do you have to adjust the hyperbaric protocol if you incorporate red light therapy as well, and what time of the day you should use either therapy? All of these answers in this video. Subscribe to this channel. I'm Dr. Masha. Here I share information on how to use the regenerative technology to feel good, look well, and live long. When you combine hyperbaric therapy with red light therapy, magic happens. Both work at the level of mitochondria. Hyperbaric supplies oxygen to mitochondria to electron transport chain where we produce energy. Red light therapy primes mitochondria so it can actually use this oxygen more efficiently. There are many more pathways that are synergistic between hyperbaric therapy and red light therapy, but in this video, I'd like to focus on practical elements. If you're really interested in the science, I put together an article that you can download in the video description below that goes exactly into synergy between red light and hyperbaric. The most common question, what do I do first? Hyperbarics followed by red light therapy or red light therapy followed by hyperbarics? Let's look into more detail in what each therapy does, and that way we can actually plan which therapy to do first. Red light therapy optimizes mitochondria to receive more oxygen. So if mitochondria is not optimized yet, it makes great sense to do red light first and then follow it with a hyperbaric session. How do you know if mitochondria is not optimized? Headache after a hyperbaric session is a good sign that mitochondria was overwhelmed with the oxygen that it received. Also, we know that the level of oxidative stress is high in people with chronic disease that they've had for a long time, people with fibromyalgia, chronic fatigue syndrome. So in all of these cases, a short session of red light therapy followed by hyperbaric therapy will actually help those people tolerate higher level of oxygen. Now, if we want to do the targeted hyperbaric, or so we call it, we do hyperbaric first, followed by red light therapy. And let me explain. Let's say I had a shoulder injury and I have specifically pain and inflammation in this area. I do hyperbaric therapy, which will systemically increase the amount of oxygen I have, send it to the site of the injury, increase the production of fibroblasts, collagen, and the repair will start. Now, if I follow that with red light therapy, I will dilate blood vessels in the area of my shoulder. So when my body is still flooded with oxygen, as happens right after I had my hyperbaric session, I can dilate the blood vessels by applying red light therapy to my shoulder and send more oxygen specifically to this area. If I'm not healing from the injury, or if it's not a post-surgery protocol that I'm using, if I'm not at the state of chronic inflammation, chronic disease, and mitochondrial dysfunction, and I'm doing both hyperbaric therapy and red light therapy for disease prevention, health optimization, to feel better, to live longer, I like to spread these two therapies in time. I will do them on the same day, but I might do hyperbarics in the morning and red light therapy in the evening. And the reason I do that is that each therapy sends a message to mitochondria. Mitochondria needs to process that message. So I like to separate those two therapies, yet I'm doing them at the same day. We know that red light therapy effects last at least 24 hours and hyperbaric therapy effects last at least 72 hours. So if we are combining those two therapies in a window of 24 hours, we're still integrating two therapies together, even though we're not doing one after another. It's also helpful because sometimes doing two therapies together might be too overwhelming for the system that needs to rest between receiving the therapies. Both red light therapy and hyperbaric therapy are synergistic, meaning that they potentiate the effects of one another. So I've noticed that sometimes when people are doing their hyperbaric protocol, but they sort of feel that they've plateaued and they're not improving any longer, it's a really good idea to add red light therapy to that protocol because we are starting to see more improvements. Sometimes, I'm not saying all the time, but sometimes adding red light therapy to hyperbaric protocol will decrease the total amount of hyperbaric sessions needed. And I've seen it over and over again. For example, post-surgical recovery, we usually talk at least 10 hyperbaric sessions, but depending on the surgery, we might get to 30 hyperbaric sessions. So if we incorporate red light therapy as well, the healing is happening much faster. So instead of doing 30 sessions, we might end up doing 15 sessions with the same result, or 20 sessions. This is very individual. It's not that if I needed to do 30, I will cut my number of sessions in half if I do red light therapy, but you get the point that the total number of sessions will be and might be decreased. When we talk about a chronic disease and doing hyperbaric therapy to improve the symptoms of chronic disease and help in disease recovery, it's not necessarily the lesser amount of sessions that we talk about, but it's the faster recovery that we see when we add red light therapy to hyperbaric sessions. Now, red light therapy, the frequency is usually not as frequent as hyperbaric therapy. I'd like to see it done at least 3 times a week when with hyperbarics, especially initially. I like to see it at 5 sessions a week. I have several videos on this channel. They talk specifically about hyperbaric protocol and the frequency of the sessions that needs to be done. So to summarize this all, both therapies work so well together. The results that you get when you combine red light therapy with hyperbarics are much stronger than if you were to just choose just one therapy. You can combine them together one after another, or you can spread them and do them in the same day, one in the morning, another one midday, or however it fits your schedule. Please leave your questions in the comment section. I always read the questions. I try to answer them. And if the question is very interesting, I will make a video on this channel so more people can learn the answer to the question. Because if you have that question, most likely other people also do. And I'll see you next week. Thank you for watching.